Cruise news time. Well, we got passengers that didn't really get enough notice before their cruise got canceled, and we got more ports denying cruise ships. And the big thing here is Carnival's changed a bucket list cruise, and people are left answering the question, should I cruise or should I cancel? Cruise news. Let's talk about it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Lido, Loca. I'm your host, Tony, here with the latest cruise news updates, and it's the 9th of January, 2022. Welcome to the show, and I am 7 short days until my next cruise. I made the decision to get back out on the high seas and see what's going on right now. We hear a lot of stories coming off of the cruise ship. This is happening to me. This is not happening to me. We're doing this. We're not doing this. I thought, well, let me interject myself into the situation and see if I can give you guys some on the scenes reporting. So yeah, next week I'll be heading out on a cruise. Super excited. Next Sunday, I cannot wait. But Today we have to talk about some cruise news, really going to recap some stuff from the previous week, and then have this big discussion at the end of the show about whether you should cruise or whether you should cancel. It's please stick to the end, and let's have that conversation. First and foremost, I want to talk about the cancellations that we saw this week with Royal Caribbean and Norwegian Cruise Line. The videos go through all the specifics. The specifics aren't necessarily important to this conversation, but what is important is the timing of the cancellations, both in the situations with the Norwegian cancellations and the Royal cancellations. For some of the cruises, there was very little time between the time the cruise started and when they canceled the cruise. And I've heard from multiple people that they'd already traveled to the port city from their hometown to go cruising. And so that's all I want to say about it. People that were on the airplane and got the email, people that made it to Miami and got the email and now had to figure out how to backtrack out of all of that. Of course, the cruise lines gave compensation, but a big old hassle when it comes to cruise cancellation. This is a crazy time, and I think this is a valid question to have, a valid conversation to have. Should there be a requirement for a 3-day window if a cruise is going to cancel? Now, if a cruise can't go, the cruise can't go. So, I don't know how they would work this out, but it seems like there's got to be some mechanism that could be put in place so that people are not traveling the day before the cruise only to end up at the port city to get the cruise canceled. That would be hugely frustrating. I would love to hear in the comments if this is your circumstance. And if you weren't impacted by this, let's all play CEO for the day. What would you do? Do you think there should be some sort of mandatory time frame before a cruise is canceled? Or is that maybe just not possible with the rapid changes that are happening because of the uncertainty of the pandemic? That's the thing that looms over all of these decisions, the uncertainty of the pandemic. What do you think? Leave a comment below. All right, let's talk about some denials of entry. These are things that happened over the past week that I really didn't talk about too much, but the Celebrity Apex was denied access to Nassau, Bahamas. We also saw this past week that the Carnival Freedom was denied access to Grand Turk there in Turks and Caicos. And we've seen another denial at Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, which we didn't think would happen because the Mexican government said, look, we're open, you can come visit. But there was a denial in Puerto Vallarta, and maybe it's not a denial. We can debate that. This denial involved the Navigator of the Seas, and the officials there in Puerto Vallarta, in Jalisco, I think that's how you say it, they said, look, you can come. You can come visit the city if you like. The only thing that we need is a negative PCR COVID test from everybody getting off the cruise ship. And I feel like they dropped that news on Royal Caribbean as they were getting there, is what it seemed like. And so Royal just left. And so is that a denial, or is that just not being able to fulfill a new testing requirement? That's the other challenge that we see with these ports. The ports could just straight up say no, or they could have a new testing requirement that may be challenging for the cruise lines to fulfill. And so, we hear another denial there in Puerto Vallarta. How about that? Now, on the flip side, another story I didn't cover is the Carnival Mardi Gras made its first appearance in Grand Turk. Again, this whole thing is shifting sand, as it were. Some cruise ships denied, some cruise ships allowed, and the allowed is greater than the denied. Puerto Vallarta has only denied 3 cruise ships over the last 2 weeks, so many more cruise ships not being denied in Puerto Vallarta, for example. So it's again, I'm going to keep beating the drum till we get through this section, through this tumultuous time. If you're going cruising right now, be prepared for it to be tumultuous. Be prepared for change, or it could be awesome. And so just keep it in your mind, pack your patience that you may have some challenges, and be pleasantly surprised if you do not. But we are certainly getting weekly reminders that change is afoot in the cruise business in the form of denied ports of call, and these are just some of the cruise ports that denied entry to cruise ships in the past week. But you may be sitting there listening to me say all this and go, well, Tony, why would I want to cruise right now? And that's certainly the question that's hitting a lot of people. Is it time to cruise, or is it time to cancel? And how much is too much? How much is more than we can take? Carnival just made a big change to a bucket list cruise that is leaving a lot of people with that question. We're going to go through that. We're going to go through that news story. But first, let me invite you to subscribe if you like staying up to date with everything that's going on in cruising. Little point. Please consider subscribing with the notification bell on. That way you don't miss out on any of these episodes. And look, big welcome to everybody that's joined the family over the last few weeks. We're marching on through 2022. We're trying to get to our stretch goal of 18 million subscribers. I know I say that a little tongue-in-cheek, but we are pushing forward, and we'd love to have you be a part of the Lido Loca army. I can't call it an army. It's the locafam, baby. Join the locafam. Hit the subscribe button, notification bell. All right, big cruise news story. The Carnival legend set to leave today from Baltimore, Maryland. Baltimore, Maryland, the home of the Blue Crabs, the legend. A legendary cruise ship set to leave for a 14-day epic bucket list cruise to the Panama Canal. However, passengers have been notified that that epic 14-day bucket list cruise will now be a 10-day cruise, and there will be no Panama Canal. So no Panama Canal, just Caribbean cruise ports, and it's going to be a cruise with 6 sea days and stops at Half Moon Cay, St. Martin, and Antigua. It doesn't sound as sexy to me as the Panama Canal cruise, and I'm not even that interested in going to the Panama Canal. So the level of sexiness has decreased, and I'm assuming that there are people that were signed up for this cruise that are now going, what the heck? It's a rock and a hard place. These cruise lines are trying to do everything to stay open, dealing with craziness. That's another question. Would it have been better to just cancel this cruise? What would be more disappointing? If your bucket list cruise got altered in this way to be less sexy, or if your bucket list cruise got canceled altogether? That's part of the conversation. But yeah, they're giving onboard credit. They are giving, of course, money back for the days that are missed. They're giving, the port fees back. And they're also giving options. If passengers don't want to go on this cruise, they can reschedule it with future cruise credits, or they can take a full refund. So I think the beautiful thing in this story is that if you don't want to do it, you can get all your money back without a hassle. But what do you do? What do you do? Many people are being faced with this question right now. Your cruise is being altered. Your cruise is not exactly what you thought it was going to be. Do you cruise or do you cancel? I think if it was me and my goal was to go to the Panama Canal, I would either reschedule this cruise for another Panama Canal bound cruise, or I would take the refund. That way I would have the money, that I could do with what I want. But on the flip side, if I was somebody who was just excited to be cruising, hadn't been on a cruise in a couple years, kind of excited about the Panama Canal, but it wasn't a deal breaker for me, I might go ahead and go on the cruise. But that continues to be the big question for all of us. When these things come at us, when these changes happen, what do we do? Do we cruise or do we cancel? That's your question for the comments today. And boom, that's your cruise news. Get down in the comments. Let's have a good discussion. Thank you so much for checking out the show today. You can show your support by hitting the like button. And if you don't, this will happen to you. You're going to have that bag that's got the combination lock on it, and your grandkid or your nosy neighbor or just some stranger that breaks into your house is going to change the combination on your favorite suitcase, and the bag's going to become unusable. And you'll cry a tear. That's your punishment. This is Tony with La Lido Loca, and until the next time, my combo is 879. That's not true. I'll see you on the Lido. Bye.